Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me again. In this lesson, we're going to take a tour of AWS console. So, we're going to talk about what AWS console is, the length and breadth of the AWS options we have inside the AWS management console, and understand the graphical user interface better. So, there are different things that you can do within your AWS account. As you see, I'm already logged into the AWS management console using the URL right here. And here is the URL to access it. So you got console.aws.amazon.com. And you can see that I'm connected in US East 1 region. So we're going to talk about that later in just a minute. So looking at the icons up here on the top, the first link is a kind of a home button. So this is the home button. So if you click on it, you're going to come back to this same page. As an example, so let's say you're working on the S3 storage and you're here and you're managing some files and updating few things here and you want to go back to the home page. All you gotta do is click on this AWS icon and it will take you back to this home page. The next icon here is a services icon, right? So if you click on the services link, it gives you a drop down menu of all the AWS services that we have as on today, and you can click on these links to jump to various AWS services. So once you click on the services, it just pops up the list of AWS services. For now, we'll not be going through all of these services that AWS provides. It is just an overview so that you understand and learn how to navigate around the AWS Management Console. For example, if you would like to work with compute instances and you would like to create virtual machines in Amazon, then you would go to EC2 and it then gives you the dashboard of EC2 in North Virginia region. I'm going to show you one more thing here. So let's go back and click on services. On the top right hand side, you got two options. And these two options determine how you want to view these options in the pop-up. For example, by default, these options are grouped by compute, storage, databases, etc. But you can also group based on alphabetical order, right? On the top left hand side, you see the history of all the services that you have accessed so far. And you also have a search button where you can go ahead and search for a particular service. Let's say you want to search and work on databases. You can just type that here in the search box and quickly navigate to that particular service. So instead of going and searching for that service under the services menu, for example, RDS falls under the R section, right? So you'll scroll down and find that relational database here, and that may take some time. So instead of that, just go here in the search box and type that here and you can directly go to that particular service. Okay, so by default these services are grouped by subject or category, but you can also go ahead and alphabetically order them A to Z. Now I'm going to click anywhere outside this pop-up here and it just goes away. The next thing under this section is the resource group. The resource group allows me to take resources within AWS that I want to group together to manage. This is very important for chargeback purposes and organizing your resources. So as an example, think about having different departments within your company and they have AWS resources. There may be an HR department using certain EC2 instances and the marketing department using a set of databases as well. So you would like to categorize them based on the business unit. This is done with the help of the resource groups. So you will go ahead and create a group, call them as sales, marketing, or HR, and then keep their respective resources inside that group. Since we're talking about this, let's talk about tagging. Every time you create a resource group, you tag them. The tagging is important to identify who the resource belongs to. So those tags will allow me to group those resources together and then that ways I can manage them as a single group. Now next to the resource group is a small pin, right? This pin will let you keep the frequently accessed resources on the top as a shortcut. Let me show you how that is done. So I'll click on this pin and let's say I'm working on AWS organization every day. So I'll just click on this and then drag and drop onto the top. I can drag and drop multiple things. Let's say I'm working on auditing function, which is the CloudTrail, and I would like to look at the logs every day. So I'll put that as well in my shortcut. So what we did to keep it there is that we grabbed it and then dragged and dropped it all the way onto the banner. So these are just shortcuts that you're creating to quickly access them for different services. So I'm going to go back to the management console by clicking on this homepage button and then move on with the next option we have, which is the bell. Now this bell is also called as the alert bell. This is going to show us the list of AWS related alerts. So if I click on view all alerts, you can see the list of alerts AWS has posted over time. You can identify the most recent alert here, and you can also see the status of it when you click on top of it and to see if it is resolved or not. Now, these alerts are originating from Amazon's data center. So if there is something wrong in one of those Amazon's data centers or regions, then it just gets published here. You can also click on the affected resources tab to see if this particular alert has affected any of your AWS resources. So that was about alerts. Now let's go back to the home page by clicking on the AWS logo. And then the next option is the account information. When you create an AWS account, you supply certain information to Amazon. For example, your first name, last name, and then your address, etc. That's all stored under my account. There are several other things that you can see, which is the information about your organization, what your service quotas are, billing information, orders and invoices, and your security credentials. So I'm not going to go and review in every hyperlink in this particular lesson because we would see them in a different lesson. But this is the link where you get access to those resources. And this is where you can click on sign out as well. Now next to this account link is the region. So if I click on this particular hyperlink, I get to see all the regions that Amazon has as on today. So if you'd like to provision your resources in, let's say, Europe, then you'll click on Europe, and then now you are connected to Europe region. What you'll notice is how the hyperlink on the top changed, right? It changed to EU-Central and EU-Central 1. So everything that you do now is directly connected and will be provisioned in Frankfurt region. I'll switch back to North Virginia, and you will notice how the hyperlink changed to US East 1. You see how quickly you're toggling between the regions that we saw previously in the world map in the previous lesson. The next option is the support option. So if you'd like to contact support for any reason, you have certain issues, you can go to the support center and manage your cases or manage your tickets. That way you can talk to and communicate with an AWS engineer and get your issues sorted out. There's a forum, documentation, training, and other resources is where you can go ahead and learn a lot about Amazon, how technology is working. There will be like-minded people who are all connected on those forums where you can see how the questions are posted by various engineers geographically and how AWS engineers and other people as well are assisting them to solve their problems. All right, let's move further down. And at this point, what you can notice is that there is an AWS console mobile app as well. So there are a lot of things that you can manage with the mobile app. All you got to do is install that mobile app on your device and you get a similar screen, something like this, and you're connected so you can provision resources on the go. Scroll down further, you will see that there are various links here that will help you improvise your learning. And then there's a feedback option so you can let AWS know about your management console experiences. On the left hand side, if I scroll down further, there are some wizards and workflows here that will help you complete a specific task. It's just the way that AWS is trying to take common things that people do and provide them with shortcuts on how to do it. Again, trying to simplify the experience. Let's scroll down further, and these are the list of certain complex tasks, but then they give you step-by-step guides on how to complete specific solutions within the AWS environment. So that's all, folks, for now. In this lesson, we learned about what AWS Management Console is, how you can navigate around the AWS Management Console, and the various options around it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.